All right, so again, we're just going to review niche real quick. We've already talked about this last week, right? And when I came into this week, I would say a majority, maybe 75% of us already knew what the definition of a niche was. It's a job. It's what an animal does. Now, we just watched the videos, and we saw that all these different birds have a different niche that they fill, right? Some birds eat berries. Some birds eat fish. Some birds eat insects. Some birds catch mice and rodents, right? And they all have a very special job that they do, and they keep the mice population under control or the insect population under control. A lot of birds, like those hummingbirds that we saw in the video, part of their main niche that they feel is pollinating other flowers. They're kind of like bees and bats in the fact that they do that. So are there any questions on niche at all, like the job or the role of an organism? Everybody feels good about that? All right, pause this. So I would imagine, as we were looking at our vocabulary words and as we've been going through them, population, habitat, niche was probably, for some of us, new, but we already heard that word. That was a weird word, but you know, food chains and food webs we'll get into, but you already kind of seen what those look like. Predator and prey, that's definitely old news, right? Like we already knew what that was coming in. But symbiosis, mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism are all new words to us. And we're probably thinking, man, those are weird. Like those are very weird words. Like I don't understand what those mean, Mr. Bullens. Can we please talk about those a little bit more in depth? Because even as I study ahead, thank you for doing that, I still need some help with those. So let's take a look at that. All right, symbiosis. You're going to start, we're hitting that point of the year where now I'm going to start breaking words down a lot. Sim, if you see it right here at the top, S-Y-M, is a Greek word. It's a prefix. It means together. Bio is a Greek word meaning life. So if you put that together, symbiosis, that means life together or living together. And there are a lot of organisms out there that live together, and they have these very special relationships. Remember how we said there were consumers and we had 3 types of consumers? We have symbiosis, things living together, and we're going to have 3 different types of things living together. And the way that they live together and the way that they interact is going to be different depending on what type of symbiosis it is. Does that make sense? Now when I say symbiosis is 2 things living together. Now, I think of this, who has seen the movie Venom or read the comic books with Venom in it? Right? And they're all, like Venom and Carnage are all called what? Symbiotes. Right? Why? Because the alien and the person are living together. Now, there's a very specific time. You could argue with that. I think you could argue the different types of symbiosis that they have. You could probably argue all 3, to be honest with you. And we'll go through those together. So symbiosis, good. I'm going to jot that on the anchor chart real quick. All right, so again, symbiosis, right? We've got it on the anchor chart now. Organisms living together, and it's the type of relationship they have. Some relationships are fantastic. Some relationships are terrible for one of them and kind of good for the other one. And there's some relationships that we're going to have where, I'll be honest with you, I'm not even too sure one organism even realizes that it's in a symbiotic relationship. It doesn't even notice that the other thing is there, but the other thing is getting all sorts of benefits. So let's talk about those. I'll watch that with you guys later. If you are at home, watch those. Commensalism. Say that with me. Commensalism. Commensalism is a type of symbiosis. It's a relationship between 2 organisms. Here's what happens. One organism gets a lot of good stuff. The other organism gets nothing. Nothing good, nothing bad. It doesn't hurt it. It doesn't help it. And a great example of that, do you see all these remoras swimming around the shark? Okay. What happens for the remoras? Well, the shark eats, and he's pretty messy. Bits of fish fly over the place. They run out, eat real quick, and they go back and they suck back onto the shark's belly, and they get a free ride. Does it hurt the shark? No. Does it help the shark? No, it doesn't help the shark either. It does nothing for the shark. The shark really doesn't care about this, but it's really good for the remoras because if you're hanging on to a shark, is anybody going to come mess with you? No. So you don't have to worry about predators. Now, if you're not careful when you're out there eating those bits of fish, if the shark happens to catch you, I guess that might be a bad day. But for the most part, this is a commensalistic relationship. One animal gets a lot of good stuff. The other one really gets nothing. Nothing good, nothing bad. All right, so we looked at commensalism where one organism benefits and one organism doesn't get anything good or get anything bad. Our second type of symbiosis, our second relationship is mutualism. Mutualism. And mutualism is a relationship where both organisms benefit from the relationship. They both get good things. For example, the clownfish and the sea anemone. The sea anemone offers a place for the clownfish to live. Right? In that same sense, the clownfish, although you think Nemo's all super nice, in real life, if another fish comes around there, they are very aggressive. They chase those fish off pretty quickly, which I'm not too sure why they need to do that, because the sea anemone will sting other fish and kill it. But there are some fish out there that are able to eat the sea anemone, and the clownfish chase them away by being very, very aggressive in the ocean. And that is very mutualistic. That's a positive for both of them, right? It's good for both animals. Both organisms, both organisms, not animals. Both organisms benefit from that relationship. I do want to share this with the kids at home. So you have this sea anemone, and we kind of talked about this real quick. The sea anemone, and then you have the word Nemo. I don't think that's coincidence. Maybe somebody can look that up when we start doing podcasts, and we can do a whole podcast on that about how they came up with the name, because that would be fun. All right, let's keep going. Parasitism, probably the grossest of the three types of symbiosis. Not my favorite. And you can even look at this picture, and you can already tell what's going on. This is a relationship where one organism gets a benefit, that would be the tick, but it hurts or harms the other thing in the relationship. Is it healthy to have a tick on you? No, and it can be very unhealthy, right? I mean, there's like Lyme disease and stuff, which is extremely dangerous if you get that. I mean, they can help you out, but I'm just saying, like, it's not very good to have a tick on you. There are other types of parasites, like tapeworms and things that live in your intestines. That's not a good parasite to have inside of you. But it's definitely something that happens in nature. We have parasitic relationships that happen. So again, very creepy, not my favorite. This is a relationship where one organism lives in or on another organism. It benefits. The tick gets your blood, but it hurts the other thing. Okay? Like a dog and a tick is a great example for parasitism. Let me get that on the anchor chart. All right, so we have covered, kind of quickly, I know, and we'll keep going over this, the three types of symbiosis. Commensalism. Remember, the commensalism was the one where one organism gets benefits, like the remora, but it doesn't help the shark and it doesn't hurt the shark. Mutualism. Mutualism is where both organisms get benefits, like the sea anemone and the clownfish. They both help each other. And then there's that nasty one, parasitism, where one organism lives in or on the other and it hurts it. And again, that's why I said, if you read the comic book Venom, I feel like you could argue all three of these things, couldn't you? Is Venom a parasite? Well, he, at some point in the movie, even says he's a parasite. By the end of the movie, I would say it was very mutualistic. They kind of helped each other, right? And it could be commensalistic. Eddie Brock, there for a while, like, Venom really wasn't, in some parts, really wasn't getting anything out of it. It was more like Eddie Brock was getting all the benefits, but it wasn't helping or harming Venom. But I would say you probably would argue these two the most. I think you would probably end up with mutualism if you really wanted to sit down and argue with comic book nerds. And again, maybe we can do that on one of our podcasts. So let's go through this real quickly. Again, if you're at home, all the slides are here for you. All the things that we've said in class are here, but you kind of have to go through the Nearpod and watch the videos on your own. So commensalism, a relationship where one organism gets the benefit, the other one really doesn't get anything. Mutualism, they help each other. It's mutual, like right here in the definition, right? They help each other. And then you have parasitism, and like Dawson said, the word parasite is pretty much right in there. We all know what that is. It's gross. We don't like looking at this picture, but it lets us remember that it hurts one thing, but it really helps the other thing. And then everything else on this slide is nothing but videos to explain and kind of give you a little bit better of a look at symbiosis. And we'll do this in class, and you can do that at home when you get on. Everybody feel good about that? All right, we're going to pause this video and upload it. I've been forgetting to say, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe.